Welcome once again here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. I'm Paul County, the president and founder of Regional Radio Sports. We welcome you to the Tony and Natali Show. Coach Natali here to my immediate left. Glad that you can hop along with Deb Thompson, who's done a wonderful job here with Bethel's wonderful swimming program. We'll get some thoughts from her here momentarily as we kind of take a focus into that program as our spotlight here today on the Natali Show. Tony, first of all, you know, we're kind of getting down to that end of the fall stuff, starting up the winter stuff, so there's a little bit of in-between season. So the sports information departments have been kind of going around crazy with their heads cut off, and Luke and Jacob and the guys are, you know, let's start with those two guys because those guys are doing double duty with as many sports that you have here. I want to give a lot of love out to those guys.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, this is the peak time of the year when it comes to busyness, in my opinion. And we have all of our fall sports that are concluding regular seasons, getting into conference and national tournaments, and so that's a big time of the year for them. All of our winter sports with the swim dive program, with both basketball programs are ramping up, so they're busy with all of that. There's just a lot going on, and then bowling will get started here soon. Men's volleyball gets rolling, so it's a busy time, and those guys really work really hard and do a tremendous job. That's for sure.
You know, we had John at halftime at one of the games the other day. I believe it was the season opener, and we talked about the success that's been here. Maybe the most successful fall, all sports trophy-wise, since I've been affiliated with this group over the quarter of a century, and since we've been working together a little bit almost all that time. It's really, really neat because everybody's having postseason success. Everybody has been right near the top of their respective conferences or conference sports championships. And so how exciting is that to be able to get it off with a real positive note? Because make no mistake about it, we're in a position in sports we want to win.
For sure, you know, and all of our coaches and Coach Deb can tell you this, but they're all evaluated on 4 pillars, and, you know, being Christ-centered is definitely one of them at the top, but we want to have a great culture on our teams, and the competitiveness. We don't want to sacrifice competitiveness. That's why these kids come here and being trusted to us. They want to have a great career. They want to have a great experience. So to do what we've been able to do this fall and see some teams that traditionally in the past haven't had a ton of success, and to see them have the success that they have is just really, really neat to see. Our women's soccer program is a great example of that right now. You know, they have a great opportunity for the first time in maybe my time here, 26 years, of moving on to a national tournament and actually doing some things nationally. So it's been really neat to see that.
When you look at success and being in wins and losses, and I don't think either one of us as competitive people are not going to look at things in wins and losses. And I want to talk about someone who was about wins and losses, but also from a character standpoint. I'm talking about Coach Bob Knight at Indiana University, who just recently passed away. As a lifelong basketball guy, even though you went to Purdue, we're a student assistant there, I know we're going to talk about Bob Knight's student athletes went to class. He ran the program in a first-class operation. He did a couple things a little ornery. I'm going to use that terminology. But he won, and he did it the right way. And I know that's what you want here. And so let's talk about the influence that Bob Knight had on the state of basketball, not only at the high school level, but at the college level. So I'm going to ask you to take your AD's hat off and go back to being a basketball coach, Ken, and you speak to the influence that he had on the thousands of coaches in your generation.
Yeah, I think there's so many layers of that. I mean, first of all, tremendous influence when it came to the game. I mean, just the motion offense and how he guarded people and just everything he's done. I mean, that goes without saying. But then, like you say, people didn't really recognize him or know him as well. He's a very class individual, and I mentioned this to you the other night. But when I was at Purdue, you know, the Gene Cady days and the Gene Cady Bob Knight rivalry, you could call it. Yeah, there was some orneriness, like you said, but there was also mutual respect. And those games and those years, which Coach Knight were a huge part of it, that's why I got into coaching. I mean, I saw what that was like at Purdue when I was a student assistant there, and I thought, man, if I could make a living doing this, that'd be amazing. And, you know, here we are a couple years later, and we've been able to do that. Thank Jesus. But, you know, just he has been so impactful to so many areas, not just the game, but culture-wise and just the person that he is.
Yeah, I think, in fact, the guy was able to raise over $5 million for the IU Library Fund. Tells you some of the things, and I've shared some of the stories with you, how he's impacted my life. I had a chance to get to know Coach Knight during the time I was working with Hank Stram, the legendary Hall of Fame football coach, with his banquet in Northwest Indiana. We had a great relationship with Coach Knight, as well as Coach Krzyzewski, as well as some other great coaches. But anyways, that's a unique dynamic, and thanks for sharing your insight.
Sure.
So let's get Deb on board here and talk about some amazing things that's going on with the swimming program. And Deb, first of all, thanks for being here with us today. And as always, you guys are looking, every time I look over my shoulder, you guys are making history. Let's just talk about, I want you to take me back to the first time we had this conversation 4 or 5 years ago. And let's get everybody up to speed. Where are you at, and how happy are you in what you've been able to accomplish?
Well, yeah, we've come a long way since that last time you and I
Sure.
talked, right? That was before the team even
Sure.
started. I was recruiting to start a team, and it was a small team and just a few people, and then COVID hit after our first
Sure.
year, and we had to make it through that. But we've made a lot of good strides, and I'm really proud of these kids. Had my first graduating class last year. That was bittersweet. Those were the kids that were with me from the start. So to see them go on, like I say, it was bittersweet. I hated to lose some of them, but neat to see how they matured and have grown. And so this year we have a lot of really neat kids that are new. We've got a lot of international kids. So our team culture is really very exciting this year.
Tony, I know that you were part of bringing Deb into this facility and being a part of some of the things. You've had a chance to help mentor her, as well as to kind of push her in the direction you thought it was going to be important. So as you look at it from your chair now as the AD, and I know it's a different look, because now you're looking at it as, hey, listen, this is what we want to do. And I know that you weren't at swim practice telling everybody how to do the breaststroke or the backstroke.
Got that right.
You were just hoping that you weren't going to drown in the pool, that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. But give us an
Exactly.
idea as you look at it from your chair now.
Well, I think of a couple things. I think of the things I just talked about, with the 4 pillars, being Christ-centered, making sure you have a great culture on a team and full numbers, and then making sure we're competitive. And Coach Thompson's done all 4 of those, repeatedly. So her recruiting has proven that they're very, very competitive. Beat Lindsey Wilson a week or 2 ago, and beaten teams that they have traditionally not been able to quite get over. So they keep getting better and better throughout the course of that. But also it's been really cool to see the growth, not just of the team and it keep getting better, but the growth of Coach herself, because now she's on the administrative team in our athletic department. She's the senior women's administrator in our athletic department, so she meets with our ADs that we have every Monday morning, and she's a part of that leadership team. So her role on campus, her role in the department has grown to more than a swim and dive coach, but now also being an administrator helping me out.
I want to just set this up for people so they can understand some of the journeys that Deb has traveled. Tippecanoe Valley High School, Swim Indy, Oberlin College, Kent State, Washington and Lee, Drexel University, State University of New York, University of Wisconsin Whitewater, Mishawaka High School, St. Joe, and now at Bethel. Along those steps, and just looking at what you've done, Deb, since 2019, 9 NAIA qualifiers. When you walked in the door here and said, we're going to start from scratch, we're going to swim where, how are we going to do all this? And then we, of course, COVID come along and just slapped everybody upside the noggin. When you look back on all those stops along the way, how much of that prepared you for what you were going to go through when you got here?
Yeah, really all of it did. We're all on this journey, and it's easy to look back and say, okay, God had this plan for me all along.
Yeah.
And he took me out of coaching for a few years and made me want it even more. So when the opportunity came up here, I just felt so blessed. But all those prepared me, except for starting a team from scratch. I'd never done that before. That was a challenge. But now I look back, even on that process was fun, and to see where we've come.
When you look at having a facility like you have in Elkhart, is it safe to say, and you've been around the block a lot more than I have when it comes to pools, not a lot of better places around to be able to call your home pool, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, and so many people want to come and swim there now, just outside of even colleges.
Sure.
We've got club teams and high school teams, and everybody wants to come there because it's a fast pool. It's beautiful.
Tony, when you think of having that relationship with the Elkhart folks. How neat is that?
There's not a better pool around, and we put a bid in for the NAI National Championships. Deb did a great job meeting with one of their folks that came in a few weeks ago, and we're looking forward to seeing if we can get that national bid. But there's not a better facility, and Coach is right. There's people now that want to come here all the time and compete, and the number one thing is it's great for our kids. We talk all the time about giving our kids a great experience, and there's no question our swim dive team is getting a great experience there. Sure, it's a few minutes away, but I don't think, and Deb can maybe speak more on this than I can, but I don't think they mind a whole lot when they are going to such a great facility.
Sure.
So I think that helps, and when we try to help them with some of the transportation things that we try to work on our end, but it's an amazing facility, and we're just excited that we can continually be a part of it.
Deb, speak to that about having the facility. Yes, it's not on campus, but the reality of it is, if you look across the country, there are very, very few. If you look at, down in Indianapolis, the IUPU natatorium down there, I mean, yeah, that's close to so-and-so, but everybody's using it, right?
Right.
So how much does that help your recruiting?
Oh, it's huge. We try to do the tours. They come here first on campus. They
Sure.
see beautiful campus Bethel. We go over there and they just walk in and their phones are out right away taking pictures and videos and just awestruck. But now I'm finding a lot of them have actually swum and competed there, again, because their club teams are coming
Sure.
there or whatnot. But it definitely does help.
Is it safe to say that you would not want to ever go back and start a program from scratch, having what you've gone through?
At my age? No.
Okay.
If I were younger, maybe. But no, it was quite an experience. I enjoyed the process.
Mm-hmm.
Just difficult when you're trying to get kids when you have no results yet.
Right.
So I'm thankful now that they can look at results and see that.
How are you able to, I'm going to use this terminology loosely, sell the idea of getting kids to come here right from the get-go? And then now, having seen that class graduate,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine how you felt realizing that, hey, listen, I talked to athlete A or athlete B, you're going to be part of the very first class. I mean, that's a great selling point right from the get-go. You're going to be a part of the first class to ever swim here and this and that. And then you had to be bursting with pride, I'm thinking, when that class,
Absolutely.
went through things.
Absolutely.
Share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I look back to Daniel Stauffer was the one to first say yes. And he said so right away, like before the board met, the trustee board, and just watching how he grew. And once he said yes, then I could say, hey, we've got somebody. And then when the first woman said yes, oh, hey, we've got a woman. So, we really did build on that. And they were really proud to be, I called them my founders the whole way through. And they were really proud of that and still are. They came back for our inter-squad meet. Some of them swam against the kids now. And just to see that pride that's really cool.
Give us an idea from a numbers standpoint. Start with the gals. Numbers in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're at now, where you want to be. Do you want to continue to grow it? And then likewise with the men's, what kind of numbers are we talking about?
Yeah, so this year we've got 20 women, which is about where we want to be. Maybe a few more, just in case there's injury or whatnot. But that's a good place to be. When you get to the championship meets, you're only allowed 18. So, you hate to have a few not be able to go to that. So right around there. We're a little lower. We got 16 on the guys' side. But hopefully we can get that up there too next year.
Tony, what can you do as the athletic director to empower Deb and her team?
Well, first of all, I think you have to have a great product, and I feel like what we've been able to do at Bethel, even in the championship plaza where we're at right now. I mean, it's the improvements have been really good. So I think when Coach takes them on their tours, I think that helps. They see the physical part of that, and then of course more importantly than that is just to know the people and the relationships. Coach has a great relationship with her kids. She does a phenomenal job of that. The other thing that comes to my mind, being a coach for so many years, is the scholarship program
Sure.
that we have. And I feel like we now have scholarship programs available where we can be competitive and we can give our kids a variety of packages. Coach can go out, and if she sees a young man or young lady that she's like, wow, this is a game changer, I need to get this person, she's empowered to do that. And does she see somebody that's maybe not quite at that level yet, she's also empowered to do that. So there's many levels to that scholarship program, which I think helps quite a bit.
Deb, can you speak to the landscape of high school swimming here in Indiana as well as around the Midwest, and is it really all you need to do is stay within the 4 or 5 state area and you can build a tremendously competitive team, or do you really need to? For instance, if you talk to Eric Snyder, the men's volleyball coach, he's going all over the globe trying to get volleyball players because that sport has not evolved in our country the way it has with swimming.
Right. No, Indiana is one of the best swimming states in the country. It really is. And if you go down to the Indianapolis area, those high schools have pools like we have here in Elkhart almost. Right. I mean, they're building those, and it's phenomenal. So, yeah, I do draw from here, but I have started to look in other countries. Like I say, I've got some internationals. They bring that culture, and they just love being here. They get the opportunity to go to school and get a good education and swim, where they can't do that in their home countries.
Talk about the spiritual makeup of your group. I know that's always something that's important. It's one of the pillars that Tony's talked about. But from your standpoint, I know Tony and I have had this conversation for 20 plus years. The importance of being bloom where God plants you. Mm-hmm. So He's planted you here now at Bethel. So talk about in the way you are blooming where God planted you.
Well, this is the first Christian university I've been able to be at. So what a huge difference to be able to speak my mind, to be able to pray openly with my team and with them individually. Couldn't necessarily do that at some of the public schools I was at. So I really like that, and that's part of our recruiting process too, or mine, when I talk to them is, about the faith-based school that we have, and that's going to be a part of it, chapel, etc. So it's been neat to see how we've been able to impact some kids that were kind of on the fence a little bit before coming.
All right, let's talk about this year's women's and men's team respectively. Exciting things are on the future for your guys and gals. So let's start with the gals, and who are you expecting big things from?
Well, wow, our women are pretty good this year already, so I'm very happy. In fact, I had to call the hotel down in Columbus for nationals and say I might have more.
Good problem to have.
You're right, because
exactly.
we've really achieved a lot of provisional cutoff times already. So the possibility is looking really good of 8 to 10 women getting down to the national meet this year. Few less on the guys, but still probably should get some. And we've got returning national champion Nick Baum, the diver, plus Owens, another diver. We have a female diver that I'm hopeful can win nationals as well. So really looking good.
Tony, national champions, you're going to have to change the sign out there.
Yeah.
I want you.
Yeah, we need to change that sign up a lot, so we got to find out Velcro numbers or something else because it's not working too well the way we're doing it, that's for sure.
All right, for someone, Tony, from your perspective, as someone who just knows athletics, you don't know anything about swimming. You've got to be able to trust what Deb has been able to do. I know that's not always easy because when you're if Coach Draven or Coach Paulsgrove is going to come in and talk to you about something on X's and O's, it's not a big deal. You can go in there and you could X and O's with the best of them. But this is a little bit out of your lane, right?
Yeah. It's actually, in a lot of ways, and this is going to sound maybe not making sense, but it's actually easier with the sports I don't know much about because I do trust totally with the swim program in every way. So I don't micromanage her in any way. I give her free rein. We talk all the time, every day, but she knows. She doesn't have to come to me and ask questions too much. I mean, if she has something important, she'll come and talk to me. But just the day-to-day operation of the program, she can do that. With basketball, I know too much. So when Steve comes and talks to me and asks me how he looked defensively, that's a long conversation sometimes. Where with Deb, I can say, "Hey, you look good. I was at the meet. It looked awesome." So sometimes it's dangerous to know too much, I guess.
Deb, can you mention some of the student athletes' names that we should keep an eye on as we peruse the Bethel website, and who are expecting great things from maybe in the future that maybe just kind of staying in their own lane and may get to the next lane over. What do you think?
Well, we got fifth year. Logan Burnt has been with us. Took a COVID year. He's fifth year. He's been fantastic. Made it to nationals every single year.
Wow.
So far, and he's already doing well. That fifth year can be tough when you're that old, but he's doing really well. On the women's side, we got a freshman. She is actually from Argentina. Aixa Ruccini. Has already broken 3 of our school records, is on track to just do really well, and it's going to help our relays then too. So,
Tony, are you ready to hang a banner?
Absolutely. It's been cool to see. We had in the hallway with all of our coaches, we had a record board that I used for years for track.
Right.
And that was always fun for me every Monday morning, coming in, changing records and doing that. I was something I really looked forward to. Well, now that we have the Lehman training facility, all those track record boards are down there. So instead of taking that down, we converted that to swimming. So Deb and Chris Hess have done a great job of converting that whole board with pictures and graphics, and then Deb has put the records up there. But the one thing she does that I didn't do, that I noticed last week when she did this, is when Riley Robinson, who's the diver, broke the school record. She's from Concord High School as well. But when she came here and broke the record, she actually had Riley come in and change that record herself.
There you go.
And when I saw that, I had 2 emotions. I was really excited about that and thought that, and the other emotion was, man, I'm dumb, because I just changed all the records when I coached track. I didn't have the kids come in and do it. I just did it myself. So I thought it was really cool to see Deb, include the kids in that, where she's standing on a chair and she's actually changing the record and putting her own name up there. But yeah, this is going to be a special year. She's definitely right. The teams are loaded and they've done a great job.
Deb, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tony, finally, we just finished up the day of giving here for athletics. Let's just kind of go back and revisit. It sounds like it was a pretty successful time, and kudos to all those who took the time, the energy, and the wherewithal to share their blessings with this great institution.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. There's so many great things going on here at Bethel in our athletic department that part of the growing of this and going to 520 some athletes is we need to give them great experience. I mean, it doesn't matter if we have 300 or 500, God's given that to us, and we owe it to them to give them a great experience. So this day of giving was the first time we've done this. We had no idea what to expect. It was a successful day. We could use all the help we can get throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, it was very successful. We're very blessed to be able to do what we've been able to do. And there's a lot of times I go home at night and I'm thinking, I don't know how this is happening or how this is working or where this is coming from, but God does, and God has gifted us so much in so many areas. But very blessed to be able to have the folks that have been a part of Bethel Athletics through the years and the new folks that have joined us.
Once again, we thank you for joining us here. A special thanks to Deb Thompson, the outstanding women's and men's swim coach here at Bethel University. And once again, a special thanks to Tony Natali. And thanks again to Tanner Camp and Mia McComish for engineering our program here today alongside Luke Schrock. For all of us at Regional Radio Sports, I'm Paul Condry. God bless you all.